Alexander Great. In 323 BC, the world's greatest conqueror fell terribly ill right after a massive party. He spent 11 days burning with a fierce fever, unable to speak or even move his hands. Then his breathing stopped, and doctors declared him dead. But the real mystery was just starting. For 6 whole days, his body did not rot, decay, or change at all, even in the boiling summer heat. People thought he was a literal god, untouched by death. But modern scientists have a terrifying theory. He might have been paralyzed by a strange disease, completely awake while his servants prepared to bury him alive. King Tut. In 1324 BC, a teenager ruled over Egypt, surrounded by immense gold and absolute power. Suddenly, at just 19 years old, the young boy king died, leaving no explanation behind. For thousands of years, his golden tomb hid the truth, until scientists finally scanned his bones. They found a badly broken leg infected with malaria, which could have ended his short life. But they also found a massive hole in his skull, suggesting someone may have crept into his room at night. Did he crash his royal chariot during a hunt, or did a greedy advisor strike him down in the dark? Edgar Poe. In 1849, the master of spooky stories walked out of a room and vanished for days. He was later found face down in a ditch, wearing cheap, dirty clothes that did not belong to him. He kept shouting the name Reynolds into the night, but he could never explain what happened to him. Medical records vanished, leaving guesses ranging from a rabid animal bite to a brutal political kidnapping. Back then, gangs would drug random strangers, dress them up, and force them to vote multiple times. He died in a cold hospital bed, taking his final, darkest mystery straight to the grave. Cleopatra Queen. In 30 BC, the most famous queen of Egypt locked herself inside a heavy stone tomb. Her enemies had breached the city walls, and she refused to walk through Roman chains. Guards broke down her door, finding her lying perfectly still on a golden bed, surrounded by weeping servants. Legend says she smuggled a venomous snake inside a basket of sweet figs, letting it bite her arm. Yet doctors found no snake bites on her skin and no slithering reptile inside the locked room. Many believe she carried a secret poison inside her hollow hair comb, choosing her own quiet exit. Mozart composer. In 1791, a musical genius sat in his dimly lit room frantically writing a song about death. He looked up at his wife with tearful eyes, whispering that someone had given him a deadly poison. Days later, his body swelled up like a balloon, causing him to scream in intense agony. He died at just 35 and was thrown into a cheap mass grave with no witnesses present. A rival composer later confessed to his murder, but historians found no proof of his guilt. The exact poison remains a secret, hidden forever beneath the old streets of Vienna. Dyatlov Pass. In 1959, 9 young hikers set up a sturdy tent on a freezing snowy mountain slope. In the middle of the night, something terrifying caused them to slice open their tent from the inside. They fled out into the freezing darkness wearing no shoes, jackets, or proper winter gear. Search parties later found their bodies frozen solid, scattered across the deep white snow. Some bodies had broken ribs, fractured skulls, and orange skin, yet showed no signs of an outdoor fight. Was it a sudden avalanche, a secret military experiment, or something hiding in the dark woods? Emmy Robsart. In 1560, a wealthy noblewoman ordered all her servants to leave the grand house for a festival. When they returned that evening, they found her lying dead at the bottom of a short flight of stairs. Her neck was cleanly broken, yet her fancy hairpins were still perfectly in place, unbothered. Her husband was a handsome lord who desperately wanted to marry the powerful Queen of England. Everyone suspected he hired an assassin to push her, clearing his path to the royal throne. The scandal ruined his dreams, and the true cause of her fall remains an absolute mystery. Napoleon Bonaparte. In 1821, the fallen French emperor lived in exile on a lonely, stormy island. He grew weaker every day, suffering from horrific stomach pains until he finally closed his eyes forever. Doctors blamed stomach cancer, but years later, scientists tested strands of his old hair. They found massive amounts of arsenic, a deadly poison locked inside the hair fibers. Did a sneaky British guard slowly poison his wine, or was it something much simpler? The bright green wallpaper in his bedroom used arsenic for color, releasing toxic fumes into the damp air. Charles XII. In 1718, a brave Swedish king stood in a muddy trench during a chaotic nighttime battle. He lifted his head over the safety wall to look at the enemy, facing the flying bullets. A second later, a loud crack echoed, and the king fell dead onto the wet ground. A bullet had pierced clean through his skull, entering one side and exiting the other. Experts checked the angle, realizing the deadly shot came from his own army's side, not the enemy. Some believe a tired Swedish soldier used a metal coat button as a bullet to end the endless war. Christopher Marlowe. In 1593, a famous playwright walked into a small tavern to meet three shady men. They spent the entire afternoon eating, drinking, and arguing loudly over a simple dinner bill. Suddenly, a wild fight broke out, and a sharp dagger was plunged straight into his eye. He died instantly on the floor, but investigators quickly realized he was also a secret government spy. The men he was with worked for the Royal Secret Service, and his arrest warrant was already signed. Did he die in a silly bar fight, or did the government silence him to protect royal secrets?